Mr. Gerheart here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the music-specific masks we have for the instruments. I've got my mask on because I have Cobre's best technical advisor, Mr. Trey Burnett, behind the camera over there, helping me out today, so I appreciate him. So the nation conducted a aerosol and water droplet study that took months when COVID first hit back in February, March. They released those findings in late summer, early fall. And that study was conducted by the National Association of Music Educators, the National Federation of High School Sports, New Mexico Music Educators was involved, along with the NMAA. All of those went together out of Colorado, the universities, and they did a global study on what would be safe for musicians. And they concluded that the water droplet and aerosols needed to be contained among musicians using several different things. That instruments needed a bell cover, and musicians needed to be able to play with a mask. Now, playing with a mask and getting the mouthpiece to the musician and keeping a mask on is the big trick. So we did get those purchased, and we're going to show you kind of how those work. Any instrument that's brass or flute and clarinet, even the big tubas, have bell coverings that come on and off. And we have instrument-specific masks. We're going to start with the flute-specific mask. These are all custom to the instrument. So the flute mask has slits on both sides with some reinforcement, and it allows the back to be open for the instrument. So the flute player slides the flute through. I think it's easier when the mask is actually on the individual, but since I don't want to infect it. So the face would be covered, and on the back side, the player has access to the mouthpiece. So all the water droplets are contained inside the mask. So that's how the flute works, which is kind of pretty unique, actually. The woodwinds for the saxophones, all saxophones and clarinets, is a little bit different. There's a reinforcement right here. What makes all these masks safer than, you would think, just cut a hole in the middle, well, then the aerosol can still escape out. These are all designed from the side. So the player actually has to enter from the side of the mask and then angle through a slit or an opening, which makes this L pattern so the water droplets and aerosol can get contained rather than just leak out. Does present a little bit of a challenge for the player, but we'll work through that. So the woodwinds will have to enter from the side. And it'll stay there on the front. And on the back side, just the mouthpiece is exposed on the player's end again. So everything is contained underneath the mask and there's no leakage out. This is the same for the saxophone players as well. And the brass are very similar to the woodwinds, but the slit is in a little different position. So the brass players have to enter from the side, and the hole is just a little bit more central. So the mouthpiece can go through and keep everything secure on this side. So the mouthpiece stays there. So that's kind of how they all work. Percussion have a mask, but it's just a mask. Okay, there's no holes because they don't use anything to breathe, so they would have that. The masks are on the chairs, the bell covers are on the chairs, as you can see, assigned to the students. All of the masks and bell coverings are machine washable, and we'll have those sanitized by the students at their houses. Basically, the masks we're using right here are designed by somebody at New Mexico State University. Actually, I believe it was a student. and they took it to the engineering department. They got it all figured out. These are smart people. And then they're manufactured in Las Cruces. So we helped out our state. And actually, these masks are the same being used by all the Las Cruces public schools, Mexico State University, and several other universities across the country. Currently, they're in application with university bands who are performing. So they are tested and working out really, really well. So we're glad that New Mexico could help with that. And we did choose the red to, it's a school color, but we also decided, my wife and I decided that when the kids are trying to hunt for their bell covering or their mask or something, that black, and there's a mouthpiece in there, it's kind of hard to see, but the red would be easy for the students to find. So we figured that would be an added bonus for the student, and it would give a little bit of color to what we're doing. So we feel pretty confident with our procedures, with the masks in place and the bell coverings, all machine washable, and hopefully with the unique patented designs here of the sideways motion that really keeps the water droplets in place. So hopefully that video was educational to how these masks are used and how they're going to keep our players safe.